Great.
Cool.
It says you are live. Does it say we are live here? Hello. It is on. Maybe?
Hello.
Cool. All right. I hear me. Do you guys hear Mary? Mary, say hello.
Hello. Does anyone hear me?
Because Kubris and Second are both here. But hello and welcome to the first Reseller Repartee. I am joined by Mary from the Block Vintage.
Hello.
Who graciously decided to be my first guinea pig for this. If you don't know me, my name is Heroin Bob. I go on the reselling community as Bob Buys. And this is just a friendly chat to talk to someone who I think is absolutely lovely in the reselling community.
Oh,
I am sorry. I do. I'm sorry that my camera is going to go back and forth. It still doesn't quite know what to do with green screen without actually green screening it. So if you, it's going to switch between back and forth. So I am apologizing for that now. But Mary focuses primarily on vintage clothing. Is that right?
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, vintage clothes.
So when did you start deciding to sell vintage clothes? I know when I went to the backlogs of your YouTube channel.
Oh God.
It was it was, you found a bunch of cute vintage clothes and you wanted other people to enjoy it. Now, did you start reselling vintage 5 years ago or was it sooner than that?
It was like 10 years ago that I started on Etsy. I'd always been someone who went to thrift stores and was like thrifting, but I decided to start a store when it was like I got out of college and got a job at like as a courier, and I was going through a quarter life crisis. I was so depressed. I was like, this can't be my life. Like I want to start a vintage store, but it's a recession and like I couldn't get any jobs and like, whatever. So I was like, I'll just do it online, and I did that, and it just kind of over the 10 years it's kind of gone up and down, like the amount of effort I gave to it, but probably in the last 5 years is when it was like the most serious. But yeah, and for the beginning I was only doing Etsy. I sold things on eBay just to get rid of stuff from my house, but it wasn't like I was selling vintage on Etsy.
So your Etsy store is 10 years old, and
yep.
you've had over 1,600 sales on your Etsy store.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
When did you decide? So she also has an amazing website for her Etsy, which is the Block Vintage.
Thank you.
I thought it was great, and I've noticed that you also have a lot of you actually have a lot of model shots in there as well. So is that something that you do on a regular basis, doing the modeling shots, or is that something that you do for certain pieces or when you have a willing model to do that?
So for the model stuff, I actually just loan clothes out to models and photographers in the area who are just starting out and wanting to build their portfolios. I like find them usually through Instagram, or I found like one or two, and then of course they start telling people, and then they start telling people. So people will contact me sometimes and be like, do you have anything I can wear for this photo shoot? Or same thing with photographers. And then the exchange is just that they get to use the clothes for free, and I get to use the pictures on my website and social media. So it's really just when someone contacts me, and I let them pick out what they want to wear. I don't just say, you have to wear this, but I say, look at my website and tell me what you want to borrow, and then you can borrow it.
That's a really good idea for people that sell vintage clothing. Now, did you just do that because you had a really good Instagram, so people started reaching out to you for that? Or like you started out with some and then word of mouth happened, but how did that initial interaction happen?
Well, so this one girl who was a reseller, she used to live in Raleigh. I honestly don't even know what happened to her, but she was selling all these clothes because she was moving, and she was like, come, do you want to like buy out some of my stuff? And I was like, sure. So I went, and then I was like, oh my God, are you also a photographer? Because your Instagram looks so good. Do you take those pictures yourself? And she was like, oh no, like I just lend the clothes out, and you know, just like what I said. And she was like, you should do that. And I was like, okay, that's such a good idea. And then so I asked one of the people who had done it for her, which she was like, she didn't care. So that person was like aware of this thing that could happen. And then that's the first person I reached out to. And then, and actually, like, I just kind of run into a lot of people who want to be models. Like this girl I worked with who worked in the mailroom at my office, she's in like tons of my pictures. And I do have a good friend who's a photographer who I'll sometimes go out with and style the clothes more. But yeah, and my friend Amy, who does the store with me, she used to do modeling, and so I make her be a model for me sometimes, and I do take pictures sometimes, but not most of the time. So
That's really amazing. Now, do you notice that if the clothes sell better when you style them in the model photos, or it's just kind of a nope?
No, yeah, it's just really, I don't think it has any difference or makes any difference.
Now, do you think it helps your Instagram though? Grow your Instagram at all?
Oh yeah, for sure. And the fact that then the models want to follow you so that they'll, you know you or like be in touch with you, and then, you know, it definitely helps with that and networking. Like I never had even thought about networking before I started doing that. And then I was like going to meetups and taking wardrobe, like for photographer model meetups.
Wow.
And so then lots of people would be buying them. I don't know. Or not buying them, but taking pictures of them.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah. I think so too. Everyone should use my idea. Or the girl actually, who I don't know what happened to her with her idea.
So let's talk about the trunk show, which you opened with your friend Amy, who you already mentioned, and her mom.
Yes.
And so you guys wanted to open in March, and then the world ended. So how are you guys navigating that now?
Well, so we were, I think, I'm trying to look at the calendar. The date was, oh, thanks, Josh, for my new hairdo. I think it was March 15th or something, or maybe it was March 13th that we were supposed to open. And that was literally like right when the whole COVID thing started happening. So of course, it's also a multi-vendor mall. So it's like an antique store or whatever where people have booths. And it's also handmade stuff, not just vintage. But so then we were feeling bad because not only were we having to close, but our vendors had just, you know, taken all this time to set up their booths, and like, you know, we're so excited. But I think we were open for about a week where we weren't technically like advertising like, hey, come in, because people were supposed to be socially distant, but we weren't. Like Amy was still there. And then we ended up having to close for after that week altogether. And we've just been doing an Insta sale. So we've been posting different vendors' items on Instagram and having people buy them through there. So it's been going good. I mean, yeah, it's been working. It's definitely, I mean, I'm sure we would be selling more if we were actually open, but it's good. And I think it makes, you know, everyone feel good when they see that their stuff is sold online, and, you know, just makes people feel like a little bit better about the whole thing. But hopefully we'll be open soon. I mean, they allegedly in North Carolina, the date is May 8th that we're supposed to start reopening and stuff. So who knows?
So if you are able to reopen on May 8th, like, how many people could technically fit in your space, and how are you going to have to navigate in order to reopen with that? Or are you letting your business partner handle that?
Well, I'm sure like when they were at the beginning of it, when we were still letting people in, we weren't allowed to have more than 10 people in at a time. And I'm sure it'll be something like that with, you know, 10 or lower. I don't even know, whatever number they say we'll do. And I know some states were saying people would have to wear masks if they went in stores.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm sure we would just do whatever we had to do to comply with the government's orders. So lots of sanitizing.
Well, that's what I think I admire most about you is that, and also something that I related to the most is that you also still have a full-time job, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you're doing you and you have a very, well, what I would think a prolific store on Etsy, in addition to doing this business venture with your friend, with an actual giant retail space with all these vendors that are going inside of it. So I really respect that level of hustle. But what do you do as a full-time job? Are you okay to talk about that at all, or?
Yeah, I work at a law firm as a legal administrative assistant, so it's not really very exciting. It's just administrative work. But I've been there. It's the same place I was a courier at, during the recession, and I've just kept doing different things there. So I've been working there a long time and done a lot of different jobs. But
So do you see now, if you're almost, like we talked about before we went live, you're almost at that 1,000 threshold to think about monetization. Do you think once you're able to reopen Trunk Show, or are you hoping once you're able to reopen Trunk Show and continue to invest more time in both businesses and also YouTube, is your end goal to not be at the law firm anymore, or do you think you're always going to just have a regular, stable income?
I mean, that would be my goal, but I'm also like a weenie or whatever. Like, I don't want to take a big risk, you know what I mean? So that would be awesome. That would be my dream come true. But at the same time, it's like, how much risk do I want to put? Like, I have insurance and, it's so lame, but, we'll just see. I just take it day by day,
Okay.
Especially in these uncertain times.
You know what? I think that phrase and fake news, I'll be grateful if I never have to hear either of those expressions ever again.
Yeah.
These uncertain times, the ads are just way too much.
Oh, yeah, I was saying that too. It's like, can we just have a regular ad again and not have every ad be something about, like, things are hard right now and, like, now more than ever. I don't know. I just want to see, like, regular pizza ads.
It was the same thing when I tweeted about this, but I haven't had cable TV since I moved out of my parents' house for college. So the only time I watch any kind of like regular TV is when I go over to the boys' house. And we were watching something. I think it was like something on the BBC. And we got served a Bounty paper towel ads, a Charmin toilet roll ads, and like a Clorox bleach ad back to back. And I was like, we can't buy you right now.
It would be
What
nice.
is the point of this advertisement?
Yeah, that's funny. It's just teasing you.
Yes. Yeah, Josh is saying it's like you can buy insurance. Now, is it like, do you have an amount that you would have to be bringing in monthly from everything in order to make that transition? Because, I mean, I don't know your health history, but you can get health insurance.
I mean, my health is pretty normal. Like, I'm like just paranoid, I have anxiety, so I'm like, what if? But I mean, I would, if I could make as much money as I was making at the job I'm in, then I would feel comfortable. So.
But see, that's the tricky thing. So what I've noticed is that when you have multiple revenue streams, is that if you have a stable full-time job, your lifestyle will inflate along with your income. So it never becomes a direct replacement. It kind of just adds on to it. And that's the thing that I know I would struggle with if I ever got to that point, and am currently struggling with, because it was like, okay, well, now I have more money, so I get to do more fun things, and it's never, okay, well, I'm now at the point I can replace my income. fun things, more fun things
Yeah,
when I'm still doing the full-time job. So
that's true. Yeah, I mean,
so
even if you get a promotion at work, you still feel like you never get, or like you still have the same amount of money. It's like, where's it all going?
I'm as high as I could go in my company. So I would have
Yeah.
to leave my company and actually get, a corporate grown-up job that I don't really want. I have a corporate grown-up job title and a lot of benefits, but I wore pajamas to work today. So
Yeah. Well, me too, now that we're all working from home.
true. So you are still working from home, even though are the courts closed there in North Carolina if you're working as a legal aid?
Well, there's like federal courts and stuff that are open and they do e-filing and things like that.
Okay.
I'm not really that involved in litigation, so a lot of it doesn't even have to do with necessarily courts that would be open. But yeah, I mean, everyone's working from home. Everyone's still seeming to be doing stuff. You can do so much online for the courts and everything now, but it's just a matter of like teaching the people who don't want to do it online.
Yes.
Now they've had to learn.
It's okay.
Crazy.
If you do enough lives, you just don't care what you look like anymore. Like,
oh yeah,
if you look at my Twitch record, I used to do full faces of makeup every stream to where I would spend an hour beating my face, and then now I'm just like, you're getting this. That's what you get.
Well, your skin is so nice and porcelain. Like you probably don't even need any makeup.
That's kind of you. I just use enough lights. If you get well enough lit, you're just going to be reflective and it's not going to matter.
Oh yeah. So I have a little light.
That's okay. Your skin looks great too.
Well, thanks. I'm wearing makeup.
So since you deal primarily in vintage, what is your favorite vintage decade? Well, I haven't seen you wear too much historical, like antique pieces. So I'm going to go with what is your favorite decade to wear, because I think that'd be more accurate.
Excuse me. I definitely like the 90s the best and probably the 70s. The 90s is easy to wear. I don't know. Obviously, it's in style right now. But in the 70s, I don't really wear 70s stuff that much, but I like the style. But yeah, 90s. I mean, I'm pretty casual. I just wear like button-up shirts and polo shirts and t-shirts. And I feel sometimes like I should be more fashionable if I'm having like a fashion store. But, what are you going to do?
You like the 1780s.
The 1780s. Whew, that's real vintage.
Do you actually even know what that time period is called, Tornado? Do you like Georgian Regency? Because that's what that would be. And if so, you should follow Pinsent Tailoring because he would be right up your alley.
That's hilarious.
Like, something else that I really enjoy is it's called costubing, or it's costube, where it's just historical costuming on YouTube. And I watch a lot of that.
So they just dress up?
Yeah, so they make
act stuff out?
Well, they don't act anything out. They just dress like if they were going to go to the grocery store, they wear pieces that they've recreated from extant garments. So like they recreate Edwardian walking skirts, or they'll make their own shoes based on a 1600 pattern. So I watch a lot of that, and that's something that I want to. Yes.
Well, that's interesting. I've definitely seen the ones that are like, I dress 80s for a week, but that doesn't seem quite the same. Well, I would like to do one like that.
Yeah. So what's your favorite to sell, or what do you think sells best for you?
For me, I sell mostly 90s stuff. It's easier to find. I think the people who buy stuff from me are like, know that that's what I would have the most of. Yeah, I honestly talked to a lot of people who do really well with dresses in like 50s and 60s and stuff, but I don't know. I have a really hard time sewing dresses. I usually stick most to like tops. I think especially when you're online, it's easier to buy well, I don't know, maybe not everyone, but I think it's a lot easier to be like, oh, a size medium shirt, that'll fit me, rather than like pants. I don't know. I feel like pants are so hard to find ones that fit you. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, I saw you for your good fare box, which, by the
Oh
way,
yeah.
you definitely are trying to make lemonade out of lemons for that.
Yeah, my husband was like making me. He was like, "You should." I mean, they did say it was gonna be like shirts you could paint in or whatever, and I was like, "Well, I guess." And then I felt bad, so I was like, "I guess I should." You know, and I watched some other YouTube videos of it after I unboxed mine, and everyone did not. I mean, my box was typical, like nobody's was very good. Well, actually, one guy did have said his was so good. I didn't even watch it, which I probably should have. But then I noticed like Good Fare was making all these comments underneath, like, so glad you liked your box and da da da. So I was wondering if they
Sent
I
him
don't
the
know.
good box.
Yeah, who knows? But mine was. I did sell one thing from it already, but
Really?
that
What did you
it,
sell already?
it was an Auburn University sweatshirt pullover kind of thing. It was the one thing in there that was super in good condition. It's Auburn University, right? Not college. But
Yes.
yeah, I sold it for like $20 on Poshmark or something. So
Oh, you're on Poshmark now?
oh yeah. I've been on all these things like Poshmark and eBay for a long time. I never thought about it to use for like my reselling stuff. I just would put, stuff I didn't want anymore on it. So, but now that I'm at home and I'm getting these like stuff boxes that aren't necessarily vintage and I can't put it on Etsy, I've been putting it on Poshmark and eBay, and I opened a Mercari, which I sold one thing on there. And then I also have been doing Grailed for men's stuff, which was doing good, and then I stopped selling anything on there. But I do have a Poshmark. It's not, anything to write home about. But that's what I sold that shirt on.
Well, that's awesome. So I saw you're also trying to alter them to make them more interesting.
My thrift flips. Bootleg thrift flips. I'm not a seamstress or anything, but I don't know. I crop shirts a lot. I watch a lot of before I ever even saw any reseller videos, I was watching thrift videos from like a bunch of young girls, and they all seem to live in California. And so that's like what I was trying to do when I started, or like that's the only thing I had watched, and they crop everything. So I was like, well, I'll just crop everything too. If it sucks, then maybe they'll want it more. But so it works in some cases, and you can cut off if it has a stain, or like I just cut right over it, and then they love it. Kids.
I try not to watch those because some of the things that they crop, I'm just like, why did she ruin that? Some of them, I like the ones where they take like a house dress, it's a 2XL, and they make it into something really cute.
Oh yeah.
And like a small size, I'm like, okay, that's fine because nobody's gonna want that. But some of the things that I've seen from like thrift hauls that they flip, and I'm like, why did you do that?
Yeah. No, and I wouldn't do it to anything that was good, or because sometimes I'm like, even if it's a t-shirt that I think will look cooler cropped, like, well, somebody might want it a full shirt, and if they wanted to crop it, they could easily just do it themselves. So, but I have a sewing machine, and I had a goal, or like goals, to learn to sew, and then it got covered with all my stuff, and I haven't learned to sew. So, but Amy, who was in my store, she's a she can sew anything. She's amazing. She does. So I try to get her to help me sometimes, like fix repairs or whatever.
That's awesome. So is this what Amy does all the time? Is trying to do the trunk show? Is this
Hmm.
like what she's putting all of her eggs into, or does she have her own Etsy store as well and does other stuff?
Well, she, for the past, I don't even know how many years, but it's been, I don't, I don't know, maybe like 8 years or something. She's had a line of bags that she does
Oh,
from vegan leather and clutches and stuff like that. And so she was just getting kind of burnt out on that. And she wanted to have a place where she could sell that stuff as well as vintage stuff because she's also addicted to like selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace. And she does have hi Dale, a Etsy that she doesn't really keep up with that much. But yeah, so she's been doing the bags and now she's transitioning into all this. So, but yeah, that's her full time thing now.
oh. Well, I hope everything's open up soon,
I'm sure
because
it'll be fine. We've honestly, I have been so surprised at like how much interest we got from vendors when we just opened up applications. Like nobody knew anything about us, and you know, my Mary in the dark hair. But I and we've gotten. I mean, our Instagram's only really been going for like a month, and we have almost 1,000 followers, and I haven't even like made any kind of effort to ask anyone. Like normally on sometimes I'll be like, hey, come follow my page, you know, some corny stuff like that. But like I haven't even tried to do anything and they're just coming. So I think once we are open it'll be really good and people will come. So I think it'll be good.
well, you're in North Carolina. Are there a lot of like antique malls where you are?
Mm, there's like well so in Raleigh there's a few. There's not really a good place with a lot of vintage clothes, which we have a lot of clothes
Mm.
there. There used to be one place that was super big that had a lot of clothes, but they something happened to their building and they had to move to a smaller space. There's a few. I mean, there's probably honestly, I don't really go to antique malls that much because I like to go to thrift stores. And um, the ones that I have been to, there's only a few, like maybe three in Raleigh that I can think of. But I don't like go out of town to try to find antique malls or anything. So there's not one, and we're like right downtown. Very good location. Everyone should check it out. Trunkshow.com. Trunkshowraleigh.com.
I was going to say, trunkshow.com is just a completely different website.
Yeah, no, don't go to
I
that.
learned that the hard way.
I actually don't know what it is, but I'm afraid.
Oh, it's just like coming soon or something. It's just like a placeholder website.
Oh,
But
I
I was
wonder
like,
if,
this is not it.
yeah, that's funny. But
I
Trunk
wonder.
Show Raleigh.
So for your branding, so who did the branding for yourself for the Black Vintage, and also who did the branding for the trunk show? Was that something you did or something you hired an artist to do, or?
Well, actually, for both of them, my one of my good friends, Jen Richardson, is Heartthrob Studios on Instagram. She
Oh,
does branding and she's a graphic designer. She went to college with me and we lived together for years. But she did my logo for the block. And then when we were doing this, we asked her to do the logo for Trunk Show. And so yeah, she's the one who's done it all. I I mean, she's really amazing. She lives in Alexandria. I guess that's not really that close to Virginia Beach, but or maybe it is. I
no.
don't
But I know where Alexandria is. I worked for the
Yeah.
Department of Code for a little while, so I know where
Uh-huh.
Alexandria is.
Yeah, she's really got a great style. Um, so and it's
After
I
this, I
love
might
my
have to.
logo.
After this, I might have to ask you for information.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I get on the block at least. I mean, we haven't had the trunk show one for that long, but I get comments all the time about people giving me compliments on that they like the logo. So I'm very happy. And she had made one for me before a few years earlier that was different, but this one I like even better. So always evolving.
Well, you should. Most businesses should rebrand every 10 years or refresh their brand every 10 years to go with whatever current trends is. Although now technically it's probably every 5 years you should rebrand because of how fast everything moves with the increasing rise of internet and internet marketing. But that was a tangent that I didn't need to go on.
Well, sounds good to me.
So you have any questions for me? Because I feel like I've just been grilling you a little bit.
Well, you said a little bit about what your job was, but I mean, we don't have to talk about it.
Well, I just don't want people to find me and bother me about that. No, it's okay. No, I mean, I'm a CFO, so I handle money. That's like my job is to. It sounds very fancy, but it is a very boring job where it's just if you're not good at math or don't like math, you're not going to like it. I do a lot of forecasting, which is like, hey, if we do this, how will this affect us like 2 years down the road? And like, how should we be spending our money so that way, when we get to winter months, because I manage a lawn and landscaping business. So that is a seasonal business. So how are we forecasting to make it through the winter months? That kind of stuff. And it's a multi-million-dollar business. So it's like tens of thousands of dollars that I deal with on a daily. And then it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars I deal with every month. So that's what I do. And I haven't had any changes in my life at all since for the last, month and a half. I still go to the office because I have my 2 assistants.
Oh, right.
And that's it. Like that's all I see, or it's myself and my 2 assistants. So, and I don't do anything different. I can do a lot of what I do from home, and I've taken a couple days where I'm just like, I'm going to be at home. If you need me, you can message me. But other than that, there's nothing. I don't need to do anything right now.
Yeah.
So,
well,
hello, Amy.
Maybe you can help me with my finances. That's Amy from Trunk Show.
Oh, is it? She has been raving about you and how wonderful
Amy's my best friend since kindergarten.
That's awesome that you get to work with your best friend. And that you like each other enough to do that.
Yeah.
I would kill mine.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, Amy's great, and I don't have anything bad to say.
No, all you've done is said lots of positive things. Yeah. So whose idea was it to do Instagram sales for the Trunk Show?
I don't know. I think it might have been kind of a joint idea or somebody else. I think one of our vendors maybe said something about it. It just was, Amy says it was my idea. I don't know. It was like a lot of different things. We were just trying to think of something to do rather than nothing. And it's actually been good just to get publicity too. So I think all in all, it was a very good idea.
Now, is that something you'll carry on afterwards, or is that something you maybe will do like, for like a vendor, like you'll do a vendor spotlight on Instagram or something, or will you continue to do sales online once you're actually able to open? No. What? No. That's a big no.
I was hoping that I was like, I don't know, but I mean, it's getting, tedious, but I'm sure we would do like something every now and then, like maybe, like you said, a vendor spotlight or something, but I don't think it would be anything that we would be doing on the level that we're doing now. So, or maybe like if our vendors were having a certain vendor was having a sale or something, we could do something with them, but I don't know. It's not a long-term plan.
Solution.
Yeah.
Did you have any vendors back out because of what's going on?
No, no,
Wow,
everyone's been super
impressive.
supportive. Um, yeah, I mean, everyone, like, they want to help us as a small business. We want to help them as small businesses. So, I mean, knock on wood, but, you know, we'll see. So far, so good. And we have, I mean, we do have a waiting list of people who, want to come
That's
in
so awesome.
if we do lose people.
So I don't, this is business brain in my head. So are you guys running a percentage with rental, or are you running a straight rental, or are you running like a commission only? If you don't want to disclose that, that's totally cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just shouldn't say anything with Amy
That's cool.
here looking over my shoulder, I don't want to say anything wrong, but yeah, I mean,
Because I know a
mom's
lot of
scared.
resellers, that's fine. I know a lot of resellers
A
do
straight
straight
brothel.
broth.
Oh my God. We're actually running a sex. Oh, wait, never mind. That was about to go way off the rails.
It's okay. No, I was just wondering because I know that a lot of people that I've talked to, because I like going to antique stores and to learn. I don't necessarily, because I'll go around and I like to see something that I haven't seen before. Because as I don't know if you're familiar, like I do a lot of breakables, so like glass and porcelain and
Mm-hmm.
ceramics and stuff. And antique stores are really great for that because people don't necessarily want to ship those, which is
Right.
part of why I kind of am one of the few people in the reselling community that do that. And it's because of the fact I'm pretty savvy about packing my stuff, so I don't have that problem. But like that's where I go to learn stuff. And I always have heard that people transition from online to a store like you because they either have problems with the online retail stores. So like a lot of people started on eBay when it first started and they had a bunch of problems because like you think scams are bad now on eBay. They were worse when it first started because I've been on eBay since it started from
Mm-hmm.
like in 1996. So it was like a year after it started is when I first started using eBay. And so they transitioned to like an antique mall or an indoor market like you have. I wouldn't necessarily call it an antique mall because you have handcrafts there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
would you consider yourself like a indoor market
A
or
multi-vendor mall.
multi-vendor mall? But see, with like malls dying, do you still want to be a mall?
Yeah, because that's like even more retro.
That's a
It
fair point.
sounds cool. But yeah, I mean, I definitely myself, I never have wanted to sell anything breakable online. That's part of the reason I sold clothes only. And then since being here in the quarantine, I have been listing stuff that's breakable on eBay and I've been selling it. And it's like the most nerve wracking thing ever to ship it. And like, I just hope it's making it there. I have all this bubble wrap, but like, is it enough? I don't know. But yeah, I totally get it. I would like to never ship something breakable again if I could help it.
See, I don't. I ship a lot of mugs and glassware.
Oh
I've
yeah,
only
you love
ever
the mugs.
yes. I've only ever had one thing break, and I filed a priority mail claim. I pretty much anything that is breakable, I ship priority mail, except for if it's like a mug that fits into that 5x5 box, and then I don't have a problem with it. But if it breaks, I get my money back, so it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I've never understood why people have a challenge with it because the online claims form for USPS is super simple and I get
Mm-hmm.
a check within like 2 days of it filing the claim. So
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I guess I never really thought about it. This is like a really stupid story about me as a young idiot. I was like on eBay too, just selling random stuff from my house when I was in right after college. And I was like, I'm gonna be a photographer. So I like took all these pictures and I put them in frames and I was selling them as like framed pictures like art or whatever on eBay. And I just literally took the framed pictures and put them in a bubble mailer and sent them off. And then the people were like, I just got a package full of glass. Like, what is wrong with you? And then I felt like the biggest idiot in the world. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, I'm going to make $1 million. And it was a fail.
I have a story that will make you feel better about that.
Oh, good.
So when I got out of college, I liked to paint a lot. And so I would like paint actual pictures. And then I decided to switch from acrylics to oil. And I didn't realize that oil needed to cure for like 6 months before you did anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I sold my first oil painting and I was super excited because I was like, oh, this is so much like easier to work with and it's so much malleable. So I wrapped it how I normally would with my acrylics and I put paper over it and then like I bubble wrapped it and I shipped it off. And the person mailed me was like, this was a really lovely photograph, but now it's got like all this lint from the paper.
Oh no.
It was like textured all over and I was like, here's your money back. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
He's like, what did you use? I was like, well, this oil on canvas. It's like, did you let it sit for 6 months? And I was like, no.
Gosh, I mean, I wouldn't have known. Not that I ever painted anything with oils, but like, how are people supposed to know these things?
Well, I guess if I'd taken like actual art classes, it probably someone would have told me. But yeah, no, I totally understand that. So is that what did you want to be when you grew up? Like,
I actually wanted to be a writer, so that didn't work out, and here I am.
What did you want to write?
I don't know. I just wanted to write like novels or, you know, things like that. But I was doing a little bit of freelance writing after college for like local websites, and I don't know. But I mean, this really, doing reselling is really like all the things I like to do. You can do all the things, like you can take pictures, you know, if I wanted to take modeling or pictures of Amy being a model or whatever, or like I can write blog entries and I can do shopping and like fashion, like it's everything can be all in one. So it encompasses all of the best of my hobbies, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I majored in English and that's why I want to be a writer.
Yeah, well, that's funny because I majored in history and that's also why I like reselling, is because I like learning the history of like all the different stuff that I find. This is Moxie again. So I told you she would come in here. She's very codependent. She can be.
Does she have a smush face?
No, she doesn't have a smush face. She has a wonky eyeball.
Oh.
So one eyeball goes not necessarily the same way the other eyeball goes. So sometimes you'll see pictures when I'm with her and like both eyes are looking in different directions. So, yeah. But no, she doesn't have a smushy face. Like, are you going to get in my lap or are you just going to stare at me? Thank you. Yeah. But it's like, I'm really glad that you're here and I really hope that Trunk Show opens. And Amy, you're still in the chat. The whole website looks amazing. What you're doing with the Instagram, I know Mary, you're doing most of that and Amy's taking the photos and stuff, but like that was a really brilliant idea to help with this time period. And like you both are very savvy business ladies right now.
Oh, thanks.
Just in general. You're welcome. And it's like Mary, I like your style. I like the shirts that you wear. Like that's what I want. I wanted to say that earlier when we were talking. Like you said you wanted to be more stylish, but you have a style already. Like that it's a very Mary style.
Hobo.
It's like very you. No, it's not hobo. Don't diminish yourself like that. Like you have a very distinct style that is very Mary and that's very you, and just own yourself because you're awesome.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna own myself. I'm gonna keep dressing this way.
I don't know if I made that awkward or not. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's fine. I'm awkward. I'm like literally the most awkward person in the world, just in general. That's
No,
why I
Amy,
do
that's what
lots
I
of
plan
editing.
to. I plan to when the world reopens, because like that's another thing. So like you live in North Carolina and Josh lives in South Carolina. I would like to do like a little
Oh
loop
yeah,
around
that would be awesome.
because I'm in Virginia and I definitely wanted to see the store.
Uh-huh.
So whenever
Well,
that
we hope
happens.
to have a big grand opening party, like with, you know, all kinds of things, but who knows when we'll be able to even have gatherings of more than 10 people or whatever. But so that's on pause.
And see, the cool thing is, Mary, is that if you continue to do YouTube and grow your YouTube, you have a home like in-house meetup area that you have because you have a retail space as well.
Oh yeah, and we were talking about, me and Amy were talking about that as like with the photo shoots and stuff, like we would be happy to let photographers and models do photo shoots there just because it's like so cool with all the booths and, you know, like a nice busy background, and Amy painted the stairs all cool. It would just be a neat place for people to do stuff like that. So I mean, options are limitless.
Except they're limited right now.
Right, except right now.
That
They will
sucks.
be endless. How crazy. What a time.
It is.
These
Well, do you have
uncertain times. Just kidding.
Stop it. Do you have anything else you want to ask me? Because if so, I'll let you get set up for your live. That's going to be later at 8:45. And Mary's channel is linked in the description as well, and you should totally give her a follow because your editing is awesome. And
Oh, well,
like I
thank
said,
you.
you're welcome. You have way more patience with editing than I do. With all the
Well, it's fun. Like, that's the whole reason I started doing YouTube, was because I like to
really.
edit videos and I don't have anything to edit. Like, I was taking, like, that thing 5 years ago or whatever, when I was on YouTube, I got a camera and I was just taking videos of me riding my bicycle and like really boring stuff. And I was like, well, I can at least make videos about, you know, Etsy, and then maybe that'll work out. But I do like to do the editing, so it's
So,
fun.
okay, that's the one thing I forgot. I had a list of things not to forget to ask you. Why did you stop YouTube 5 years ago and then start a year ago? Like there was a big is there 4 years of videos you've
I don't
privated that
know.
no one knows about, or what made you stop and then start again?
Well, I stopped. I don't honestly know why I stopped. I guess I was like, I never thought about like doing thrift with me. I hadn't seen anybody's videos. I was just making it like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I wasn't really inspired by anybody. And then I never watched any other videos, and then I just kind of forgot about it because I do have a bad habit of like forgetting about my hobbies and like getting into too many different things. But and then what probably really was the biggest thing was my husband is on YouTube, and so he didn't get that big into it for until maybe like 2 years ago. So then when he was doing it all the time, I was like, you know, I should really do that again, because I was having so much fun editing the videos. And so that's, I think just seeing him do it got me back to wanting to do it. And then I got a new camera, and then of course, like the one I had 5 years ago was like, I probably have it somewhere. It was like a rectangle, and then the side thing popped out. But I mean, I don't even know, you know, I don't know. So, but yeah, I'm glad I got back into it, and I found like more people to follow, and just a whole great community.
Yeah, I do really like the reselling community here. It is out of some of the communities I am a part of and been in, this is probably the least drama I've had to deal with.
Oh,
There's
good.
still some,
Uh-huh.
but it's much a smaller scale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Well,
haven't had any drama yet.
well, it's
Knock on
not
wood.
like I've not had trauma, but like there's just
Other people's drama.
other people being poopy to other people for no
Hmm.
reason, but that's okay. We're not going to talk
Yeah.
about that.
Right.
Okay. Unless you have anything else for me, I'm going to let you get ready for your live so I can be a part of it in the chat like everybody else here should.
Oh,
And
well, yeah, I mean, I don't think I have anything, but I do appreciate so much you asking me to be on your channel, and I'm really glad that we got to do this because it was super fun, and I've never been on anyone's channel before, so I hope you don't regret it.
No, I did, and I like getting to know you. Like I said, I figured that you'd be just a really cool person to talk to, and like you have a varied amount of interest, which means that you are going to be interesting as a person regardless. And then maybe when the world reopens, like I could come collab with you on your
Ooh,
channel,
yeah,
but like in person, and you could
yeah,
show me the thrift stores you have there. That would be
that
really
would be
cool.
awesome. That would be so fun. I love it.
Okay. Well, I will see you in your chat later,
Yes,
y'all. She is going to do a what sold on her channel, which on the Block Vintage, which is linked down below in the description. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the chat. Mary, thank you for being my first guinea pig so I could chat and get to know you a little better.
of course.
You are an awesome human being. Amy, it's nice to see you and get to know you a little bit too. I can see you two are definitely really good friends.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm going to end now, so you guys have a good night and thank you for hanging out.
Thank you.